Section 18C, Information Protection. 18.9, Information Protection Procedures. Information protection is a subset of the Air Force security enterprise and consists of the core security disciplines, personnel, industrial, and information security, used to determine military, civilian, and contractor personnel eligibility to access classified information, ensure the protection of classified information released or disclosed to industry in connection with classified contracts, and protect classified information and controlled unclassified information that, if subject to unauthorized disclosure, could reasonably be expected to cause damage to national security. 18.10, Information Security. All personnel in the Air Force are responsible for protecting classified information and controlled unclassified information under their custody and control. DoD Manual 5200.01, Department of Defense Information Security Program, and AFI 16-1404, Air Force Information Security Program, provide the guidance for managing classified information and controlled unclassified information. Classified information. Classified information is designated accordingly to protect national security. There are 3 levels of classification: top secret, secret, and confidential. Each individual is responsible for providing the proper safeguards for classified information, reporting security incidents, and understanding the sanctions for noncompliance. Top secret. Top secret shall be applied to information that the unauthorized disclosure of which reasonably could be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage to the national security that the original classification authority is able to identify or describe. Secret. Secret shall be applied to information that the unauthorized disclosure of which reasonably could be expected to cause serious damage to the national security that the original classification authority is able to identify or describe. Confidential. Confidential shall be applied to information that the unauthorized disclosure of which reasonably could be expected to cause damage to the national security that the original classification authority is able to identify or describe. 18.11, Controlled Unclassified Information. Controlled unclassified information is information that requires access and distribution controls and protective measures, and may be referred to accordingly as for official use only, law enforcement sensitive, Department of Defense unclassified controlled nuclear information, and limited distribution. Requirements, controls, and protective measures developed for these materials are found in DoD Manual 5200.01, Volume 4, Department of Defense Information Security Program, Controlled Unclassified Information. For official use only information. For official use only, FOUO information is the most commonly used controlled unclassified information category. The classification is used as a dissemination control applied by the Department of Defense to unclassified information when disclosure to the public of that particular record or portion thereof would reasonably be expected to cause a foreseeable harm to an interest as identified in the Freedom of Information Act. No person may have access to information designated as FOUO unless they have a valid need for access in connection with the accomplishment of a lawful and authorized government purpose. FOUO information shall be indicated by markings that identify the originating office. For official use only or unclassified for official use only will be marked at the bottom of the outside of the front cover, if there is one, the title page, the first page, all applicable internal pages to include specific sections and paragraphs, and the outside of the back cover, if there is one. During work hours, reasonable steps shall be taken to minimize the risk of access by unauthorized personnel, such as not leaving FOUO status information unattended where unauthorized personnel are present. After working hours, store the information in unlocked containers, desks, or cabinets if the building is provided security by government or government contract personnel. If building security is not provided or deemed inadequate, store the information in locked desks, file cabinets, bookcases, or locked rooms. Original classification. Original classification is the initial decision by an original classification authority that an item of information could reasonably be expected to cause identifiable or describable damage to the national security subjected to unauthorized disclosure and requires protection in the interest of national security. Only officials designated in writing may make original classification decisions. Derivative classification. Air Force policy is to identify, classify, downgrade, declassify, mark, protect, and destroy classified information consistent with national policy. Controlled unclassified information will also be protected per national policy. Within the Department of Defense, all cleared personnel are authorized to derivatively classify information if 1. They have received initial training before making derivative classification decisions, and 2. They have received refresher training at least once every 2 years. Derivative classification is the incorporating, paraphrasing, restating, or generating classified information in a new form or document. Derivative classifiers must use authorized types of sources for making decisions. One of the most important responsibilities of the derivative classifier is to observe and respect the classification determinations made by an original classification authority. Marking classified information. All classified information shall be clearly identified by marking, designation, or electronic labeling in accordance with DoD Manual 5200.01, Volume 2, Department of Defense Information Security Program, Marking of Classified Information. Marking classified information serves to alert holders to the presence of classified information, identify the information needing protection, indicate the level of classification assigned to the information, provide guidance on downgrading, if any, and declassification, give information on the sources of and reasons for classification, notify holders of special access, control, or safeguarding requirements, and promote information sharing, facilitate judicious use of resources, and simplify management through implementation of uniform and standardized processes. Specific markings on documents. Every classified document must be marked to show the highest classification of information contained within the document. The marking must be conspicuous enough to alert anyone handling the document that the document is classified. Every document will contain the overall classification of the document, banner lines, portion markings indicating the classification level of specific classified information within the document, the classification authority block, date of origin, and downgrading instructions, if any, and declassification instructions. The three most common markings on a classified document are the banner lines, portion markings, and the classification authority block. Refer to DoD Manual 5200.01, Volume 2, DoD Information Security Program, Marking of Classified Information for additional information and marking illustrations. Safeguarding classified information. Everyone who works with classified information is personally responsible for taking proper precautions to ensure unauthorized persons do not gain access to classified information. Before granting access to classified information, the person must have 1. Security clearance eligibility. 2. A signed SF-312 Classified Information Non-Disclosure Agreement. And 3. A need to know. The individual with authorized possession, knowledge, or control of the information must determine whether the person receiving the information has been granted the appropriate security clearance access by proper authority. An authorized person shall keep classified material removed from storage under constant surveillance. The authorized person must place cover sheets on classified documents not in secure storage to prevent unauthorized persons from viewing the information. The following forms will be used to cover classified information outside of storage: SF-703, Top Secret, SF-704, Secret, and SF-705, Confidential. End-of-day security checks. Use SF-701, Activity Security Checklist, to record the end-of-the-day security checks. This form is required for any area where classified information is used or stored. Ensure all vaults, secure rooms, and containers used for storing classified material are checked. Classified information systems should specifically be stored in a General Services Administration approved safe or in buildings or areas cleared for open storage of classified. 18.12. Security incidents involving classified information. Anyone finding classified material out of proper control must take custody of and safeguard the material and immediately notify their commander, supervisor, or security manager. The terms associated with security incidents are formally defined in DoD Manual 5200.01 Volume 3, DoD Information Security Program, Protection of Classified Information. The general security incident characteristics are briefly described here. Infraction. An infraction is a security incident involving failure to comply with requirements which cannot reasonably be expected to and does not result in the loss, suspected compromise, or compromise of classified information. An infraction may be unintentional or inadvertent and does not constitute a security violation. However, if left uncorrected, could lead to a security violation or compromise. Infractions require an inquiry to facilitate immediate corrective action. Violation. Violations are security incidents that indicate knowing, willful negligence for security regulations and result in or could be expected to result in the loss or compromise of classified information. Security violations require an inquiry or investigation. Compromise. A compromise is a security incident violation in which there is an unauthorized disclosure of classified information. This could include the disclosure of information to a person or persons who does not have a valid clearance, authorized access, or a need to know. Loss. A loss occurs when classified information cannot be physically located or accounted for. This could include classified information equipment being discovered as missing during an audit and cannot be immediately located. Data spills. Classified data spills occur when classified data is introduced either onto an unclassified information system, to an information system with a lower level of classification, or to a system not accredited to process data of that restrictive category. Information in the public media. If classified information appears in the media or public internet sites, or if approached by a media representative, personnel shall not confirm or verify the information. Immediately report the matter to a supervisor, security manager, or commander, but do not discuss with anyone without an appropriate security clearance and a need to know. 18.13 Industrial Security. Air Force policy is to identify in classified contracts specific information and sensitive resources that must be protected against compromise or loss while entrusted to industry. Security policies, requirements, and procedures are applicable to Air Force personnel and on-base Department of Defense contractors performing services under the terms of a properly executed contract and associated security agreement or similar document, as determined by the installation commander. 18.14 Personnel Security. The Personnel Security Program entails policies and procedures that ensure military, civilian, and contractor personnel who access classified information or occupy a sensitive position are consistent with interests of national security. For most personnel, this involves procedures for obtaining proper security clearances required for performing official duties. It involves the investigation process, adjudication, approval for eligibility, and the continuous evaluation for maintaining eligibility. Commanders and supervisors must continually observe and evaluate their subordinates with respect to these criteria and immediately report any unfavorable conduct or conditions that might bear on the subordinate's trustworthiness and eligibility to occupy a sensitive position or have eligibility to classified information. Adjudicative Guidelines. The Department of Defense Central Adjudication Facility is the designated authority to grant, deny, and revoke security clearance eligibility using the Department of Defense 13 Adjudicative Guidelines while applying the whole person concept and mitigating factors. Individuals are granted due process and may appeal if the security clearance eligibility is denied or revoked. For additional details, refer to the DoD-M 5200.02 AFMAN 16-1405 Air Force Personnel Security Program. The 13 adjudicative guidelines include allegiance to the United States, foreign influence, foreign preference, sexual behavior, personal conduct, financial considerations, alcohol consumption, drug involvement, psychological conditions, criminal conduct, handling protective information, outside activities, use of information technology,